Hey, Real Green Ninja here. Today we're going to talk about how to process your installment renewals. So let's begin. One thing that's very important to keep in mind is you are actually going to run this process renewals again as a separate batch for strictly the installments themselves. Now you will need to do your renewals first. So if we go to my example customer here, which who has an installment plan in 2015, if we go to my customer here, you'll see that his 2015 installment plan is tied to the 2015 lawn care program. And if we go to the customer's main screen and bump up, you'll see I renewed that lawn care program. So again, you want to make sure to get your renewals done first for your services. Then you're going to run a separate process renewals strictly for the installment plans. So again, you're going to make sure you run those renewals. So if we go to the installment here, we'll just use this as our guinea pig, and I'll just minimize here for a moment. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the tools and then process renewals. Now, again, like I said, very important step is we're going to do it as a separate batch. So therefore, I'm going to hit none here. So it's going to uncheck all of these services because I'm only doing my installment charges. Now you're going to hit your rest of criteria. So for example, I'm going to hit my branches. There we go. And then another important thing to be aware of is you want to set a date range in this renewal date range field. What this date range is going to signify, it's going to signify what the expiration date of that installment charge is. So again, you'll see this expiration date is set for 11/1/2015. I would want to make sure that my date range that I select here has my installment charges expiration date there. And usually the expiration date is going to be whatever the last due date was, unless someone went in there and manually changed it. So as I was saying, is I'm going to go ahead and set my date range. Now, more than likely, you're probably going to do like January 1st of the year to December 31st of the year. So let me go ahead and do this here real quick. There we go. And then I'm going to make this 2015. So again, this is very important. You want to make sure that you have your date range in here, which again corresponds to this expiration date. Now, once you have all that done, you're going to hit Process Renewals. It's going to ask if you made a backup. Just like anything else where you could possibly change a lot of information, you want to make sure to make that manual data backup. Now, this is my test data. I'm not going to worry about it because I've already made one. But like I said, you want to make sure to run a manual data backup. If you're not sure how to do it, give Real Green a call. They're more than happy to show you how to do the manual data backup. If you're a hosted customer, you call Real Green and we'll make the data backup for you. But again, you got to let us know so we can make that backup. And a lot of times you'll probably end up doing your renewals at the same time. Now, also, I just want to make sure you also want to make sure you're renewing the 2015 ones into 2016. All right, so once you have all in there, you're going to hit yes, and are you sure? Yes. It's going to do is process renewals. Again, there is a summary which you can preview. And it's going to tell you what installments were renewed. Now, if we come back to our example customer here, and I change tabs or push F5 to refresh, you'll see now he has that other installment plan. So again, you'll see the expiration dates in 2016, it's set for 2016, but you'll notice the lawn care program is not tied to that 2016 installment plan. So there is another utility, and we're going to talk about here in a moment, but there is another utility that you're going to run to tie those installment services to that installment plan. So that also means you want to make sure if you're planning to do price increases, do your price increases on the services first. So that way when we run up the update installment utility, it's going to go through and it's going to use the correct calculated price based on the updated pricing. So again, if I was renewing increasing my prices, I would increase my prices either after I'd done my renewals, or I definitely want to do it now before I run the update installment utility. Now, once you've gone through and increased your prices, again, assuming you increase your prices, then we're going to run update installments. Now, if you don't increase your prices, that's fine, but you'll still need to run the update installment plan. So we're going to come into Tools, Utilities, and we're going to go to Customer Utilities. Was it Customer Utilities? Yep, Customer Utilities, and then Update Installment Utilities. It's about 3/4 of the way down. When we click on that, we have a couple options in here. As always, we can select what company or branches we're going to renew. We're going to select whether or not we want to use a flag code for people only with that flag code or for people without that flag code. Well, again, most people don't have flag codes set up. Now, this change program jobs from regular installment billing type, this is not an option you are going to use unless you are specifically told by a Real Green technician to use it, and even then we probably won't tell you to use it. So like I was saying, you do not want to check mark this because you can cause all sorts of havoc. It's going to ask you what service year to process. I'm going to process 2016. You also have the ability to change number of payments. Now keep in mind, everyone will get changed. That's going to be a part of this batch. So again, you might have a customer flag that says like, eight equal payments or something like that. You might have different flag codes or whatever, and then you might run this utility a couple different times for different flag codes. You can also change the start date. Again, most people are probably going to be used to whatever their plan was before. I had this one as a 4-month plan, but let's say I want to make this one a 12-month plan, but I want it to start on January 1st. But keep in mind, anybody that gets this utility ran against them will be affected as well. But it also gives you a chance to kind of go through and standardize the due dates and everything like that. So again, I'm going to do, let's say, 01/01/2015. There we go. And you can choose residential versus commercial, but you're also going to select the billing frequency. And like I said, this is if you want to standardize them. If you don't want to change the frequencies or anything, do not select those. All right, so like I said, this is only if you want to change them. In this case, I do. And again, you're going to put your expiration date. Again, keeping in mind, this is the expiration date of the one we just renewed. So again, we have to make sure that we have it set to the 2016 date range. Once everything's in there, then we're going to hit update. Again, you would want to run a manual data backup before running this because, gosh forbid, something gets messed up, you hit the wrong checkbox, you decide, oh, wait, we didn't mean to do 12 payments, I meant to do 10. Then the only thing other than going into every single individual customer and manually fixing them would be to restore the backup, come back, run this utility, and run it properly. So again, like I said, it's always important to run those data backups before you could possibly change a lot of information. Once everything's good, you're going to go ahead and hit yes. Once it's done, it's going to tell you it's been successfully updated. If we come back to this customer and we change tabs, we push F5 to refresh, you'll now see that 2016 lawn care program is checkmarked for that 2016 installment plan. So again, very, very, very important is you got to run that utility. Whether or not you're increasing prices, you got to run it. But you want to increase your prices, if you are, before you run it. All right? And again, you can use customer flags and do multiple batches and stuff like that. So like I was saying, a couple things just to kind of reiterate, because again, I want to make sure you guys understand the importance of this. One, you're going to do your installment charges as a separate renewal process. You're not going to do it when you're actually renewing your services. Again, it's important to do that because when you're renewing your services, you probably don't want to have a renewal date range in there because you're probably not using renewal date ranges, and you need to have a date range in there for those installment charges. Again, the date range is indicating that expiration date. Once you've renewed your installment charges, you'll want to increase your prices if you are increasing pricing, and then you're going to run that update installment utility. Again, keep in mind, if you have customers that have different payment plans, different months or whatever, you'll probably want to create customer flags for those accounts. And then when you run this, you can either filter for people with that flag code or without that flag code, because again, you have the ability to change payments and start date and so on and so forth. So I hope this helps, and I hope this explains everything about updating installments, and you guys have yourself a wonderful day.